Standard Time has the ability to allow clients to log in and view the status of their projects. So they can log into the web edition and see the projects that are assigned to them, see the estimated hours for each one and the percent complete. Then they can see the time and expenses that have been logged for those projects. So let's take a look at how you can do that. You may have noticed that I'm using the Windows edition here. We're going to switch over to the web in just a minute because the client login is only with the web. It is not with the Windows edition. So let's start by going to the Tools menu, choosing Clients, and we'll click on a client, scroll down into the Extras section, and you will see a checkbox that says Can Log In, and you can then set the password and confirm that password. Essentially what this does is allow the client to log in to the web edition, again not the Windows edition, with this username that you see at the top, which is the client name, and the password that you've entered here. So let's go ahead and switch over to the web edition. We'll see how that same setting is done. Over here in the web edition, you see the timesheet. I'm going to go to the Tools menu, choose Clients, and scroll down, click on this client. Again, you have the username that they'll use to log in. Scroll down under the Extras section. You also have that same checkbox for the Can Log In, and then you can set the password. So you can either do this in the Windows or web, but the client is definitely going to use the web edition when they log in to view the status of their projects. So let's go ahead and see how that will happen. I'm going to log out, and then we're going to simulate a client login. The first thing you'll do, since they're going to be using the web edition to check the status of their projects, is to give them this URL. That URL is the one they'll log in. That has to be accessed outside of your firewall. So from their client office, they have to be able to hit this URL. They're going to enter in the client name here. And then the password. And then click Login. So this is the page they'll see. First of all, they'll see the client name at the top, and then they will see the projects that have been assigned to that client inside of Standard Time. And for each of these, they'll see the estimated hours, the actual hours, and then the cost values, the estimated and actual. This is the actual costs that have been accrued so far, and then this is the percent complete for each of those projects. So they can go ahead and click on any of their projects. And when they do, then they see the time and expenses. So here is a list of the time. When we scroll down, you see expenses at the bottom. For each of these time records, then they see the time and date that occurred, the number of hours that were logged, the rate that you're going to charge them, the amount that equates to. This is a description of the work you performed and whether this time segment is billable or not. Well, the last three columns are available for the client to work with. They cannot change any of the other values that you see here, but they can approve or reject a time record and put some notes in, and then you will be able to run reports that show the results of those. When we scroll down, you can see all of these records. Go down to the expenses. Again, they can approve or reject each expense, and then you'll have that available to you. Click on another project, you see the time and expenses for that project. So this is how a client can log into Standard Time, see the status of their project. This is optional. You don't have to give this out to a client, but if you do, it does give them some status to go by to see where their projects are. So there's actually another way that they can see the status of their project. So let's take a look at another way that they can see this. I've switched over to an Android app that you can download from the Google Play Store and give to your client. It turns out that this app does the same thing as the web edition login that we saw earlier. It has time and expenses, invoices, the status of each task. It gives them a summary of their time and expenses. They can update their profile, and of course all of that is synchronized from the web edition every 15 minutes. So let's go ahead and tap on some of these buttons to see what's inside. You see the time and expense records that we saw earlier from the web edition. Whenever you run an invoice within standard time and send it out, it will actually download it to the client phone so that they can see those invoices right there. Here's the status of each project task. They can see daily, weekly, and monthly summaries of their time and expenses. They can update their profile so that their contact information and billing information is up to date within standard time. Of course, they can synchronize at any time. This will do it every 15 minutes, but if they want to perform a sync, they can do that. It'll pull down all the information that we saw earlier. And here you can enter the client name, password, and web URL so that it will pull down the information from your web edition. So whether they're using the web edition login or the Android app makes a perfect way for you to get the information to the client so that they can see the status of their projects. It makes them happy, it makes the whole project go easier.